Welcome to Jesse's Drone Adventures, everybody. Today we are out in the desert and we are going to be looking for a mysterious black triangle that happens to be a cave, and supposedly it's located somewhere up in these vistas. Not only are we going to be looking for that, but I'm going to be showing you some really cool stuff along the way, starting with this giant puddle that we're going to run through. Hold on. Wow.
This is my first video featuring my all-new Jeep Wrangler. Well, it's not brand new, but it's new to me. I have not retired my Hyundai Accent with over 205,000 miles on it. I do plan on holding on to that one yet because it still runs great, but having the Jeep will allow me to blaze new trails and get access to those roads that I normally wouldn't be able to drive on, such as the famous Fish Creek Hill on the Apache Trail. If you've been down that road before, you know exactly what it's all about. And if you haven't, you'll be in for a surprise in a few moments, and I'll tell you a little bit about its history. But before we do, let's go check out some alcoves. And we'll be heading down that route here in just a few minutes. But before we do, I'm going to get my drone out. I'm going to show you guys the scenery here. And then I'm going to show you a whole bunch of caves in the surrounding area. Some of them I've seen before and others I just discovered. And the reason for that is sometimes when you're out here, the sun can play tricks on you with the shadows. Sometimes you'll see something that might be there when it's really not. And other times shadows might be, hiding caves that are really there that you can't see throughout certain points of the day. So let's get it out. There is so many mysteries and secrets hidden deep within these golden canyons. The desert is always changing, moving things around and covering things up. Even though I've scoped out these alcoves before a time or two, you never know what the desert will be willing to reveal to you the next time you come around. Perhaps a piece of pottery that got washed down from above, or even a revolver from the old Wild West days that finally surfaced after years and years of erosion. This is also why I like to get out into the desert after a major monsoon or torrential downpour. The landscape can change within an instant due to a rock slide or flash flood, and although they can be deadly and destructive, in my opinion, they are also very precious moments, because you can't excavate or dig huge holes in national forests. It's illegal. But when these natural events happen, they allow us the opportunity to see beneath the surface and uncover things such as bones, fossils, artifacts, and maybe even a dead body. I know that might sound a little crazy, but people go missing all the time in the desert, whether they were swept away in a flash flood, taking a wrong step while hiking and falling deep down into a slot canyon, or they get whacked by mobsters and tossed out here. It happens. We may not have uncovered the remains of D.B. Cooper, the Lost Dutchman's gold, or the Epstein files, but if I keep coming out here and do what I'm doing, I'm convinced that one day I'll make a significant discovery. But let's keep moving down the road and see if we can find that mysterious black triangle that's high in the sky. That is, if we can even make it down this road. I've been told that it got pretty tore up ever since the storms in late September. This is the famous Fish Creek Hill on the Apache Trail. This small stretch of historic road, formerly known as State Route 88, is about a mile and a half long with a 1,500-foot drop in elevation. It can be a very rough road with sheer drop-offs, tight curves, and there isn't much to prevent you from going over the edge, except for a flimsy guide rail and a small dirt barrier. Some say it is a cheek-clenching, heart-pounding drive, while others say it's a piece of cake and there's nothing to worry about. I think whether or not it's a scary drive is predicated upon what you're driving, how bad your fear of heights are, and if you have your wife in the passenger seat shouting things like, "I done told you we should have went the other way, but no, you always have to be right." For those of you that are not familiar with this road, you may find yourself asking, why would somebody build a road like this that climbs up the steep side of a canyon, one with barely enough room for two vehicles? Seems kinda crazy, right? Well, the Apache Trail was built in the early 1900s as a supply road to haul tools, machinery, and equipment out to the site where they would eventually build Roosevelt Dam. Over the years, it's become known as this iconic scenic drive that brings in people from all over the globe just to get the chance to experience this memorable drive. I also did do a video on the Apache Trail that goes more in-depth on the history from start to finish. If you would like to check that video out, I will link it down in the description so that way you can watch it directly after this video.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we are heading to next. This is absolutely majestic. I was out here a couple days ago, and there was a big family of bighorn sheep up there. I was hoping they would make an appearance today, but maybe not. I've lived in Arizona for about 6-7 years, and this is the first time I've been down here when there's been waterfalls. I was out here a couple days ago with some family, and that was flowing a lot heavier, so I'm pretty thankful that I got to see it again today and capture it on video. Locked up the Jeep, got the bear spray just in case. There was a video somebody uploaded about 2 years ago. I think it was when the Apache Trail was closed off because of the flood damage, and they caught a few seconds of video of, I think it was a young black bear about halfway up Fish Creek Hill. If I can find that video, I will link it down in the description. But we're gonna go check out this alcove and see what's inside. It is a little slick out today, and I'm not wearing my hiking shoes because they are damaged. My Adidas should hold up here. You can see all the char on the ceiling there. I don't think we'll have to worry about rattlesnakes this time of year. It's getting to be that time where they all start to go into hibernation. Or should I say, brumation.
Fun fact, rattlesnakes do not hibernate, they brumate. According to CritterControl.com, the main difference between hibernation and brumation is that when a mammal nears its time to hibernate, it eats more to gain enough fat to sustain it through its winter sleep. Snakes nearing brumation eat less because they do not want food in their system during brumation. During a snake's brumation period, they are lethargic but not totally asleep. From time to time, they may even come out of brumation to go and get water. There's a thing you know.
It's a little bit of a hike to get over there. But look how beautiful this canyon is. Absolutely amazing. A little technical, but I think just about anybody could do this. All right, we're just about there. Just about in. I would love to come camping out here one day. Stay for a couple nights. No bears, or mountain lions, or bighorn sheep. I made a lot of noise coming in here. Not that they were in here to begin with. Gotta play it safe. I've done a lot of research on this alcove here at Fish Creek, and I could never find any literature that dictates if there is proof of Native American settlement here, which I would assume there would be because this was their travel route to the highlands in the summer. But I haven't found anything that states they found pottery, relics, tools, or any, grinding stones, anything like that. But when you see how black this ceiling is, one would think this took decades and decades, and maybe even hundreds of years for that to happen. This place is probably in the top 5 of one of my favorite places to visit in Arizona. Because even if you didn't get out of your car and you drove straight through the Apache Trail, just cinematic views all around. We still got to find that black triangle. And I think I have a pretty good idea of where it's at. It's either in one of two places. I don't want to give away its exact location, but you'll know it when we see it. Let's see if I can zoom in on this thing. Come on, get it together, Jesse. The shadows kind of distort the image a little bit, but it looks like there's a black triangle over there. And another little cave up there, too. I think we're gonna have to get the drone out, just to be on the safe side.
Based off of the picture that one of my viewers showed me about this black triangle up in the sky, I kind of knew this wasn't it. But nonetheless, it was a cave on the side of the cliff, and I couldn't pass it up. And not too far away from here were a couple more canyon secrets. After buying my Jeep and seeing this one in the condition that it's in, way down there, it put things into perspective for me and made me realize how quickly things can go to well, you get the idea. It definitely humbled me and made me even further grateful for the opportunity I have to be able to own a vehicle like this and have it take me where I need to go. And every time I get the urge to hot dog it out on the road and do something stupid, this red Jeep will serve as a reminder as to what happens when you act like a dumbass. Well said, Red. Well said. Just as I was bringing my drone back in, I spotted yet another alcove halfway up the canyon. It wouldn't surprise me if this was a naturally formed alcove, but the small cave in the center almost looks too perfect to have been created by nature, and it looks very similar to the cavates that I've been exploring in central Arizona. Being that the Apache Trail was also an annual travel route by the Native Americans, I don't think it would be a huge stretch to postulate that this alcove could have been used as a temporary shelter. One of these days, I will come back and hike up here and see if I can find any pieces of pottery or any sort of evidence that would suggest that it was occupied by the Native Americans.
This is one of my favorite places to just get out and stare at the landscape. How gorgeous are these vistas? And just think, about 45 minutes ago, we were at the tippy top there. Now we're at the very bottom. If you can see it, I'll see if I can zoom in. If you look in the center there, I don't know how well that is lit up because the sun's facing me, but there are a few little alcoves over there. But the road is pretty much like, I don't know, a couple hundred feet to the right of the road is pretty much the cutoff to where the wilderness area is, and that's where I can't fly my drone. Pretty much anywhere on the left side of the road, we're good. On the right side, no can do. Just pulled over to take a quick glance and see if we can find that black triangle. It might be further down yet, but I mean, since we're going out to the lake anyway, I wanted to stop and make sure that we didn't pass it. But I am not seeing any well-defined triangles. Is that it? I think that's it. Let me pull over here and look at the picture. I think I found it. Let me show you guys. Absolutely gorgeous day out today. I pulled up the one in my picture. I don't know if you can see it though because of the contrast here in the photo. Let me go ahead and grab my other camera real quick. All right, everybody, bear with me a couple moments here. I haven't used this camera in a minute, but focus on the center, and that is the black triangle that one of my viewers messaged me about. And in fact, I'll put the photo up on the screen right now. That is a direct match. Only problem is, that is one hell of a distance to cover, but I think there is a road down there somewhere, so hopefully I can take that road and get a little closer so I don't have to fly my drone that far.
A few moments later.
Ironically enough, I bought this book off Amazon a few months ago, and it was about the Superstition Mountains. And there's a chapter in there where it talks about all the old folklore and the tales and the legends. And it also talked about how the Native Americans talked about portals to different worlds or different dimensions in the Superstition Mountains. So it would be extremely crazy if I flew my drone up there and all of a sudden it disappeared. I mean, that would suck a little bit because those are expensive, but where would it go?
As my drone was exiting the cave, I happened to notice some impressions on the lower right side. I can't say for certain if they were from animals, Bigfoot, or human, but either way, something's been crawling around in here. And just when I thought I had seen it all, there were more. Upon first glance, I assumed that these might be naturally formed caves, but after carefully examining them and given the direction that they face, I don't think these are natural at all, at least not completely. And in fact, they share many similarities to the cavates that I've recently showcased on my channel. The cavates that I've explored in central Arizona usually have one or two big rooms with a few smaller rooms, just like the ones here. Now, this is all conjecture, but one key detail about these caves are that they face east, just like another set of very popular cliff dwellings about a 45-minute drive up the road at Tonto National Monument. Ultimately, my belief is that these caves could have been occupied by the Salado people, and they would strategically build them up into alcoves and on the sides of cliffs facing east. That way, the sun would wake them in the morning, and after high noon, the shadows from the mountains would provide them cover from the intense sun. But given that these are much smaller than some of the more well known cliff dwellings in the area, I don't believe that they were permanent living structures. And because they are extremely high, my belief is that they were lookouts. The Salado people who settled here more than 700 years ago were also known for using smoke and fire signals to communicate long distances, and maybe these caves that I'm showing you were for doing just that. Whatever it was they were signaling, it must have been of great importance considering they had to climb hundreds of feet in the sky just to get to them. Perhaps they would signal to others closer to the ground of the nearby presence of bighorn sheep, deer, or maybe they would use the smoke and fire signals to alert others in the distance of incoming danger, whatever that may be. I think it's pretty cool to see that someone else has been up here and checked out the cave, even if it was all the way back in 1986. I don't think we'll ever get to find out who the initials RP and TS belong to, but if I did, I would love to hear their story. There are many legends, myths, tales, folklore, you name it, surrounding the Superstition Mountains. I've even read a few books and online articles that talk about curses, UFO sightings, lizard people that live in the mountains, and supposed portals to otherworldly dimensions. Another popular tale that I've read about regards a spiral staircase hidden within the mountains that leads into the deep bowels of the earth. Now, I will be the first to confess, I don't know that I believe any of this, but I once had this teacher in college say something along the lines of this: many times science fiction stems from some sort of truth or real-life experience. At the end of the day, who really knows where these stories originated from? But given everything that I've read and heard about the Superstition Mountains, and then on top of that, somebody sends me a photo of a black triangle several hundred feet up in the air, you can best bet I'm gonna go investigate. And if you do want to see more desert exploration videos just like the one you saw today, make sure you click that playlist in the upper left-hand corner to continue the adventures.